We're looking for cultural fits. We're looking for schematic fits. We're looking for physical fits. And the players are also looking for, who might be good fits for them. So it's a good opportunity for them. It's a good opportunity for us. Indy does such a great job of hosting this. It's just a perfect environment, and it's exciting to be back. With that, fire away. On Joe Burrow? With Joe Burrow's contract? It's not done yet. It's a good problem to have. I've been pretty vocal about what Joe means to us, and my job is to facilitate his success as best I can with putting pieces around him. And his contract will get done when it gets done, but it's a good problem to have. He's a vital part of what we're doing. How important is it to keep it intact? It's vital. It's my job. My job is to have as many good players on our football team as we can fit in, and so it's a challenging piece as our players mature and earn bigger contracts and find the successes thereafter. It's our job to keep as many of them as we can. The reality of the NFL is that it's hard to do. But it's not impossible, and we'll fit the puzzle back together.
On that, you knew that this day was coming, number one overall pick at some point. You have the business contract. How did you go about building the roster, knowing that? Your philosophy on that now and how to build?
Yeah, I mean, our philosophy every year is to build the best roster we possibly can, and we're going to use every resource we have to do that, and we're going to continue doing that. The money might start going to different portions of our roster as it matures, but it's the same every year. How can we add players, the best players available that we have access to, and how can we get our players back that have proven that they're successful football players and part of our culture that has won the last few years. Sure, but it's a good problem to have. Our quarterback is, we go as he goes, and like I said, it's our job to facilitate his success. He's proven that he can get us there. He's proven that he's a championship caliber quarterback, but it's not a one-person game, and we have to be ready to put the pieces around him that can facilitate his success. Yeah, Joe's been, questions on Joe Mixon. Joe's been a vital part of our team. He's been a successful part of our team. Again, I'm not going to predict the offseason because I don't have the answers. In the words of the great Kevin Malone, I don't know. We'll all see as the offseason goes and what we're able to get done and how the resources are spread around. But Joe's been a vital part of our team, a successful part, a contributing part. And my job is to try to keep as many of those pieces around as we can.
How do you try and balance the current UFAs you have, Pratt, safety, so on and so forth, also trying to think about the future of some of these other guys who will come up, trying to marry, keeping some of the guys now, but also keeping the flexibility?
Yeah. Again, we want them back. It'll be dependent on how much they're offered from other teams, if they're offered from other teams, and how much we have in the resources to bring them back. The reality is that when you have a lot of successful players, and we have that, I think we've got 16 UFAs and 4 RFAs, and it's a group of players that we have high regard for, or we wouldn't have had them. And so would we want them back? Yes. And it's just a matter of fitting it together. And again, as they grow in their careers, it's harder to fit them all under one umbrella. But we'll do our best, and it'll be largely dependent on what the rest of the league does with them. And if they're out of our price range and we can't fit them in, it's unfortunate, and we'll have to find replacements for them.
How far do you think this game comes off, making the offensive line strong?
Questions on the offensive line. Really pleased with the way the group came together. We had a long stretch where 5 guys played, and it was effective, and it was growing, and they were growing together. When we hit the late stages of the playoffs, we had some injuries that we had to overcome. That's just part of NFL football. And but I thought the group was gelling well. I think they'll continue to gel. We added some UFAs last year that really came in and did exactly what we want. When you add guys and pay them good contracts and have high expectations, you want to see what you want to see the results of it, and they really showed us the results of it. And it's always a continual grind, getting enough offensive linemen. Colleges don't have enough offensive linemen. The NFL doesn't have enough offensive linemen. Certainly the new leagues that are playing, they don't have offensive linemen. It's a very difficult skill, and they're going against, and I've said this before, they're going against the best athletes in the world. On NFL defensive linemen, they're big, fast, powerful. They have real traits, and it's a very difficult, demanding position to play, and it's hard to find, and we'll keep churning that. That's something that there's no team up here. All 32 teams said, if you could say, would you add an offensive lineman that's good, and they would all raise their hand and said, yes, I'll do that. I'll do that.
You mentioned finding fits, and you mentioned locating great players. How about how is that split between quantitative and qualitative? How do you grade what the defense is?
Yeah, in terms of how we scout, I think we've always looked at the analytics portion of it as well as a height is an analytic, a speed is an analytic, how many sacks they had is an analytic. We've always effectively looked at analytics with our personal feel and our database of former players and our comparison tool, which I think is the most valuable tool you can have when you evaluate players, is the comparison tool. And the longer you've been evaluating players, the deeper your pool of comparatives that you can have. And that's the most powerful way you can describe a player. He reminds me of this, and my vision for him when he gets into the league will be this because of these things. And so the analytics play a role. Feel is always going to play a role. Experience is always going to play a role, and comparatives is vital in evaluating personnel. Mm-hmm. I don't have hard lines, yes and no. I think there are exceptions to every rule that somebody can come up with. At the end of the day, though, you don't want a team full of exceptions. Everybody's looking for the same thing. Bigger is better, stronger is better, faster is better, smarter is better, more productive is better, healthier is better. So everybody's ultimately looking for the same things. And then you circle back at what are we willing to accept? What deficit are we willing to accept in our schematic, in our team building process, and then those are the conversations that we have. If we're not willing to accept a lack of speed, that's fine, but then you might have to go a little smaller, because the big fast guy is going to go early in the draft. So you have to kind of fine tune what your relative exceptions will be with what you're trying to build. Questions on T. Higgins, another vital part of our team. He's exactly what we're hoping for when we draft a guy. A guy that comes in, develops, fills the role, helps us win in a lot of ways, does it the right way, fits into our culture. T's an exceptional football player, and I envision him being part of what we do going forward for a long time. That's the hope. That's we want our guys, and especially our guys that come in and prove that they can help us win in a big way. Logan's eligible for an extension as well, and again, we'll see. I can't predict the offseason, neither can Kevin Malone. So I mean, we're all sitting here what ifing, and if we can get deals done with our good young players, we're going to jump at the chance to do that. I just can't say whether those are things that'll come together or not as we go forward.
How do you evaluate the tight end room right now, and how do you evaluate this draft class? I mean, you got guys like Darnell, Washington, you got guys like Michael Mayer, even the free might be seeing. How do you evaluate yours and your class?
Yeah, I agree. The tight end class is good. It doesn't mean we're going to get any of them. They might go 1 through 20, and then suddenly we're at 28 and there's none left. So just because the class is good doesn't mean somebody's going to fall in the right range to us and be the best player available when we go. But yes, the class is very good. In terms of our tight ends last year, I thought we got really good production. Hayden Hurst was a guy that we signed and came in, fit the bill. You know, that's what you want in your UFA signings. Guys that can come in, find the role that's perfect for them, gel with your quarterback, and then produce. And Hayden did a great job, and we'll do our best trying to get him back. And Wilcox came in and grew his role, and we'll talk about getting him back. But that's every position is in flux at this time for all 32 teams. That's one that's in a little flux for us, but I think we've got some good options, and we'll fill it that way.
Considering how big a domino this contract would be if you were to sign
Mhm.
him, is there a desire or need to get that part done first, or are you able to look at the other 52 spots on the roster and say, we're worried about it?
Well, we're going to worry about it first, and we'll see when it gets done. You know, we have some ability to control, you know, the cap hit for year one with doing some other things, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe it's the first piece to come, maybe it's the last. We'll work towards it. I don't think we're totally handcuffed with some other things as the process plays out, but obviously sooner is better. But we're not going to rush the process. We're going to try to get the right deal for Joe and for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Characterize the level of interest in T. Higgins. Are you guys receiving a lot of calls about T right
No. I'm not in the business of making other teams better. I'm in the business of making the Cincinnati Bengals better. And so trading T. Higgins is not on my mind. That's their problem. They want a receiver. Go find your own. You know, in my opinion, you know, T. Higgins is a good piece for the Cincinnati Bengals. So the trade stuff is a little ridiculous right now.
There was some question.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's up for a deal. Jalen Hurts, Lamar, how do you comfortable with him not having somebody plans for them? Any sensitive?
Well, you're always sensitive to it. You're not dependent on it, but you're sensitive to what's going on around the league and what other players are getting, because they're going to be sensitive to the other deals that are getting done around the league. And we're always looking forward into what's coming up into the future. But, you know, our focus every year is to make the best team possible for this coming season. You know, we don't want to mortgage the future and say in a year from now we're not going to be able to be competitive, or 2 years from now we're not going to be able to be competitive. You know, we're not mortgaging the future, but we're trying to make the best team possible for this coming season.
There was some question from the Players Association about how important this combine process is and whether it's necessary. How necessary is it in your view?
100% necessary, in my opinion. This again is, you want the right fits for your football team, and the players want the team that drafts them to be the right fit for them, because they're dependent on finding a good fit early in their career. And this is a chance for all 32 teams to come together and start to really get to know these guys. If we start drafting without thorough knowledge of these guys, you're going to find that it hurts the players as much as it does the team. And this is a vital part of what we do in the off season. And again, it's something that we all look forward to.
What do you think was the difference between this year's team and the Super Bowl AFC Championship?
Couple plays, a couple plays, maybe a call here or there. When you get to that point, you're a good enough team to win it all. And we're a good enough team to win it all. You have to have the break at the right point. And we didn't get those done against Kansas City this year. But we feel confident we can get back. We felt this team really came together. Probably a little better team overall than the team last year, because we were a little more mature in our processes, and some of our players had a little more, experience, in big game situations. And we got guys with big game experience coming back next year. So our expectations are super high. And when we get to that point, when any team gets to that point, it's always going to be super close. It's going to be a close run thing, and you're going to need the break at the right time, and we didn't get it this year.
All right, thanks, Duke.
But thanks, guys.